crispy.
And welcome back to another episode of the Chronicles of Al Figures. I almost called it the Figures of Al Chronicles. That's wild. So what I'm doing here, as I left off in the last video, I'm creating the signage that I'm going to be putting on the walls. And as I had mentioned, one of the things that's a good idea, especially if you're going to use a diorama for action figure photography, where you may end up taking, different angles and seeing, seeing all the little nooks and crannies of the diorama, is that you want to make sure that you're using some sort of thicker cardstock paper, so that when I glue it there, you're not going to see, once you glue, you're not going to see the ridges of the paper. And I used to use, I think it was called aluminum tape, and it was perfect because you can bend the corners a little bit. I haven't used it in a while. I think the last time I went to get some, it was super expensive, so I haven't used it in a while. So what I've done here is I've cut all these, but then when most of these signs have this little or the corners are rounded, so you have to kind of make sure you round those off. You can see there versus kind of the black that you can see when you're cutting it with the X-Acto blade. So I'm just going back here and just kind of rounding them up at the corners as a real sign would be. And once I do that, all these will be ready to go. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and I'll put them throughout. Now these aren't replica of the inspiration picture that I'm working on. I just decided to kind of do my own, as I have a bunch there, so I just didn't want to print any ones that were very specific to where the inspiration is coming from. But these make sense because truck drivers, and this is where a truck would be, active 24-hour zone, no loitering, no parking. So I'll put those throughout. And like I said in the last clip of this, it's now time to start kind of putting the wires, giving you see where these orange spots are. I also want to do some darker brown ones as well, so I'm going to do that, get this rusty, put a little rust here, more rust here, get these all dirtied up, put the kind of cement on the top there, and then we start working on the floor, start putting little corners of dirt and kind of sprucing it up. And that's where we're at right now. Okay, so I have gotten to the point of doing most of the graffiti. I'm still weathering here a little bit, but in the reference picture there is a manhole cover. So I printed printed this last night, and I'm gonna give you guys a quick tutorial on how I go about installing these type of props. So real quick, let's take a look at the manhole cover itself. So it has kind of this little lip here. So what I've done is I've indented it into the foam, and I'm gonna cut that out. The problem's gonna be is that even when I dip it in, it's gonna be still sticking out. It's not gonna be flush, but I'm gonna teach you how I go about creating a method for it to be flushed. So the first thing I did is I indented it, and then I have this is this a protractor tool? No. Yes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, because most of these manhole covers have another little section, so I already kind of marked off where the sewer lid is going to be. And then what I'm gonna do now is just kind of create this outer, see if this works, this outer rim. I don't know if that's gonna work. Yeah, here we go. Gotta keep it up. This thinner outer rim, and then I'll get into cutting this and showing you guys how I kind of go about it. So let's start cutting. So because this is a 1-inch thick piece of XPS foam, what I try to do is kind of stick the blade out a little bit tighten it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go start cutting on the inner part of this border that was marked off here. So I'm going to go all the way through, trying to not have the blade angle any direction. I want to try to keep it straight on. Just go all the way through, and then I'll show you guys when I get to that. Alright, so I was able to cut this out. This is what it looks like. And like I was saying, the problem with just kind of putting it in there is that you can see it's still kind of sticking out. And these manhole covers are usually flush with the ground so that people aren't tripping. And if there's a, you know, let's say it's snowing and they're trying to take the snow out, it's not gonna hit here. So the technique that I use is, first of all, once it's in there, I took the blade and just carefully kind of cut all around it, right? So what I'm gonna do now is take this blade off, and then a lot of this is an eye thing because it's hard to kind of measure, but you start kind of doing this, and I'll show you what it's gonna look like. And I'm not gonna cut them piece by piece, just for the sake of this. And then that's gonna dip into there. So I'm gonna keep going around and show you guys what it looks like when once I'm done with that. So I put this blue tape on this blade just because I don't want to cut myself. Not that it's sharp on that end, but it does kind of bother me. So here we are. We went all around it. Now we're just going to take off. I did not cut as deep here. Let's see. Oh, maybe it was up here. And it's not super important to be like very, very clean on this part because the cover is definitely gonna cover that. So we just want to get this little piece out. Let's see, is it ready? All right. So now that we have this out, this will now dip into it. Now, and because you're cutting at an angle that's tough, it may dip in a little bit deeper, but there's ways to fix it. I can put hot glue gun to kind of raise up certain sections of it, but the idea was to get it flush. And that is now flush, and now I'm going to do is get a sharp blade and cut around here and kind of give it that secondary circle where these manhole covers kind of have where it kind of sits into it. So this is what it's looking like so far, but I'm very happy with this. And again, getting it flush is great. And yes, obviously I'm painting this as it's not going to stay white. That would be crazy. All right, so you guys what it looks like in a bit. Okay, we are progressing with this diorama. I have done all the graffiti I wanted to do on the doors, weathered up and rusted this grate a little bit, started to work on the floor as well. All the signage is up. Started to kind of get mucky at the bottom level there. Finished putting this piece in, and I have pancake mix on my finger. And yeah, so it's coming together really well. Weathered these as well. So I had let me take this piece off here. Oh, I also put the light in. I still have to put the piping to the light, but that light is in. I was at Walmart and I noticed that they had Apple Barrel is usually the paints that I use for the most part, and I noticed that they had some paint markers. So I have bought it and I've been trying them out, and they are pretty good. So with these, what I'm gonna do is just kind of make it look like they were, you know, screwed onto the wall. And this is a perfect marker to kind of just put those dots to just make it look like they were hammered or screwed on or what have you. But yeah, I'm happy with how it's coming out. Now the biggest you know, the part that's really gonna, because you see all this negative space here, and I've mentioned this before, one of the things when I make dioramas, if there's too much negative space somewhere, I feel like your eyes are looking all this, but eventually it kind of goes to this blank spot. So what I'm gonna do is put some wiring here, and they have like a box here or something like that, and that's going to help with eliminating that negative space there. And then with the floor, I still have to kind of paint it on the inside of where I cut here. I still have to paint the brown a little bit past the margins, I guess, a little bit deeper, because you can see some of the black is peering out. So I'm going to do that now. I also want to put, there's like a gap here, and I want to put some greenery here, just some, you know, some moss or some weeds that are growing out of this structure. And so I'm gonna get to work on that. But I also kind of weathered and rusted this up a little bit there, and that's, I actually may even put, I was thinking of putting like a grate just coming down a little bit. I think that'll look cool. So I think I may do that. And I have just this one light, as I mentioned before, that I'm gonna put somewhere over here, so this piece will have 2 lights coming off of it. And I still have to weather this entire wall. The graffiti that's here on the side, I started to weather it. When you do graffiti on a structure, if you just did it, obviously it's gonna look fresh. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this kind of just make it look like this is the fresh piece that just got painted. This is gonna be weathered, the rust coming off of here, so I have to work on this wall. And I'll put a little bit of rust on the grate itself, but the graffiti, I think I'm gonna keep it fresh. And this is the Almighty GN crew. That's the crew that I'm a part of, that I've been a part of for over 30 years. That's the crew that I did the graffiti show with last year, which I don't think I ever posted. I don't know if I ever posted. Let me look to see if I posted some of the visuals of that. I had my I think I had my Ray-Bans at the time. If I didn't, at the end of this video, I'll post some of what that show looked like. It was over a year ago, but it was an amazing show. And I don't think I posted it. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But yeah, so this is where we are with it now. And I'm, again, very happy with how it's coming out. I think it's going to be great for action figure photography or action figure display. Again, it's one of those things where you can have 2 different pieces, which is pretty cool. Which reminds me, I should paint this in black, so that if you do have it out, you get the 270 degree. And I'm definitely gonna paint the back of this in black as well. All right, guys, let's proceed. And we have progressed to finishing the floor for the most part. I just noticed there's a couple little spots I have to paint, but the weather look is here. I think what I'm gonna do is do another coat of Mod Podge and then sprinkle some like dirt, just so it's not so smooth. As certain areas would be smooth, but some areas are gonna have, you know, just a little bit of debris. But I'm happy with how, I don't know if you guys remember, there was like this gap there, so I put some debris there and put some hobby grass, so that's covered up. Now I didn't show you guys this, but the method of creating kind of this chunky looking debris is basically just taking some Mod Podge, putting some sawdust in it, and I put a little bit of these little tiny rocks that I have, and kind of mix that together and just kind of painted it in, let that dry, and then painted it in brown, which is how you get this effect. I also hung the first kind of wire on this wall. There's going to be some other things on this wall, but I'm happy with this. And the way I created these little loops here is just paper clips. I just clipped some paper clips and kind of stabbed them in there, put a little bit of glue, and then I put them back, and this wire is sitting there, so that's looking pretty good. And then I think what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna put any piping for this light. There's a lot of lights that are just, you know, they're wired into the other side. So what I think I'll do is, because I am gonna use this light here, I think I'm gonna put it right around here and then do some piping here and kind of coming over here and then stretching over the top of the wall. And then I'll do some of the extra stuff that was here, and I think I do want to put the little bit of little piece here of a grate, almost like it wasn't put up all the way. But yeah, man, it's coming. Oh, and I weathered this yesterday and kind of gave it that dripping rusty type look, and that look there, but kind of weathered it so it's not as bright. I still have to weather this little corner here. I just feel like it's not dirty enough. So this whole little corner here, you know, in these type of environments, these corners are always going to be kind of filthy. And then this is going to give it a little bit of wear and tear, a little bit of rust down there, a little bit up here. But I'm not going to alter the graffiti too much. I'm going to keep the graffiti bright versus here. You can see I kind of dirtied it up. And here you can, the colors are so bright it's hard to tell, but I kind of took a wash and did the whole wall. So it's not too bad. So this is kind of extra dirty or a little dirtier. This is less dirty, and this will be clean graffiti, but we're gonna dirty up around there. And this diorama is complete. We have crossed the finish line with this. So let's break down some of the parts that you might not have seen, which is to start with this back wall here. So I put all the wiring. This is just kind of like this little rope type of thing, and I used paper clips and cut them, stabbed them into there, put a little glue in that spot, put them right back in. So that's that. Put some piping on this light. This light is again from a crock, and the good thing about how I install this light is that these crock lights have, it's like a gibbet. So this little piece here goes into your crock, and when I put it in, the piece didn't want to come out, which is perfect because now I can just kind of put it into there and it clips right in, and it's perfect. Put these little bumpers here, and in the bumpers I put a couple of I think these are just these little tiny nails. I think these are upholstery nails, so I put upholstery nails here. Decided to not put any piping here, as the wiring in my mind is on the inside, which is absolutely feasible. Put another bumper here, so when the truck is backing in, it won't crush or crash into the wall and crush the brick. Put this little piece here. This is some like little rubber or plastic type rope that I have that I just kind of circled, went off the reference pick. Put this little piece of wood, put some piping here, painted it to make it look like it's all electricity happening there. Came back and did another round of just some more debris on the floor. So with these are a little thicker, as you can see. These are a little smoother, so it's a little combination of both. Put all the moss in some of the corners. This was especially important because there was a little bit of a gap there from the wall to the floor. Dirtied this up as you guys saw, but I also did the corners, came back and did both corners and made them a lot darker, a lot dirtier. Man, what else? The bollards, I got them a little more weathered. Also painted or weathered the top as well. And this is just concrete that's poured into these metal cylinders to form this bollard for the safety of vehicles and what have you not crashing into structures. I think I already discussed the doorknobs are just 3D printed that I got from Ashley Michaels. And I don't know what else there is to say about this. We have some lighting here. You can't see it too well because it's the daytime, but I love the fact that this 2 lights, and this actually has 3 settings for the lights. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it. So this piece is all done. Oh, I did these cracks here because a lot of time when you have manhole covers, there's always some cracking going on around them. Oh, I also did the Mod Podge and kind of sprinkled some of the dirt. So again, there's not a lot of flat areas. There's some, but not too many. And yeah, I'm very happy with how this came out. The way I kind of did the wiring is I just wrapped the piping here. The wiring was hot glue gunned here, hot glue gunned here, and that's how I kind of put them into place. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else left to say. Again, I love the fact that this can become 2 separate dioramas. So if you want it for display, you'll have 2. If you want it for action figure photography, You just kind of click them right back into place, and now you have this much larger space. This ended up being, I believe, 2 feet across. Yeah, so we're looking at more than 2 feet with this extended piece. We're looking at 25 inches across. We're looking at 11 and a half inches deep, and this is on the taller end at 14 inches tall. And yeah, it breaks down pretty good in terms of shipping purposes. So, you know, you would remove the lights, and then you just pretty much remove the bollards. So there's 4 pieces that you can put to the side there, and basically this is what it looks like to ship. So on the long end of a box, I'm gonna I need to find an 18-inch. Let me see. Yeah, we're looking at like 18 inches across, probably, maybe 19, and then it needs to be, because of this extended piece, about 16 inches, so 19 by 16. And then in terms of how deep it is with the bubble wrap, you're probably looking at about 10 inches. And yeah, easy to put away if you don't want to use it anymore, or you're moving or what have you, and just as easy to set right back up via the magnets. It all clicks into place. And it's less than 20 seconds of putting it together, and then you put the bollards into the peg holes. This light is pegged in with this piece of wood, and this goes in, and you're done.
Daytime, but this corner is pretty cool. We got a lot of love and recognition. Yeah, we got the piece here.
Yes, 100%. No, I think I actually remember that shot.